After land acknowledgements fade, reality bites. Carney's government bleeds taxpayers dry, funds ideology over results, ignores audits, crumbles parks, unsafe transit, bloated bureaucracy. Respect shouldn't be ceremonial. It should mean accountability, value, and services that actually work for ordinary Toronto families. See for yourself what happened next, live and unfiltered.
Let's start the meeting in a good way by acknowledging first that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. I'm also going to make our African ancestral acknowledgement, and that is that the City of Toronto acknowledges all treaty peoples, including those who came here as settlers, as migrants, either in this generation or in generations past. And those of us who came here involuntarily, particularly those brought to these lands as a result of the transatlantic slave trade and slavery. We pay tribute to those ancestors of African origin and descent.
The next deputy is Daniel Tate.
All right, good afternoon. Okay, I'd like to start my deputation in a good way by acknowledging the people who fund this municipal enterprise, the Toronto Taxpayer. Let's reflect and remember that every word spoken in this chamber, every light bulb, and every salary paid, including those of city councillors, is funded almost entirely by the hard work and earnings of taxpayers and property owners. Nearly all of the city's $18.9 billion budget comes directly from them. We acknowledge that while taxpayers and property owners have endured an almost 20% increase in the last 3 years, only a small and insulated group decides how much of their income is expropriated to sustain a burgeoning municipal bureaucracy that continues to grow regardless of outcomes and results. We pay respect to those taxpayers because without them, this institution could not indulge in ideological excesses like renaming streets and public squares, painting roads with inferior and environmentally damaging red paint, nor fund harm reduction programs that result in a steady stream of drug paraphernalia littering our streets, sidewalks, parks, and playgrounds. In this spirit of acknowledgement and with an eye to the future, we recognize the Toronto taxpayer and revere their tolerance for being taxed. Now, I'd like to offer some observations and questions with respect to the budget. Toronto Public Health is requesting $307 million to fund, among other things, initiatives described as, quote, chest feeding programs for milking humans, and an expansion of harm reduction programs for, quote, people who use drugs. What percentage of this $307 million budget will be allocated to these specific initiatives? Next question, in a surprising turn of events, Toronto Shelter and Support Services is requesting a lower budget in 2026, $786 million, despite previously tracking towards the $1 billion mark. Given the documented financial irregularities involving third-party operators, including concerning issues with One Community Solutions, the vendor who received $40 million on a sole source contract, are there plans in 2026 for a forensic audit of this division? Third, with respect to the Housing Secretariat, who is requesting $866 million, what is the budget for overspending and paying far over market value for properties that are to be converted to harm reduction shelters? Fourth, several $100 million from the New Deal were allocated for capital repairs to park facilities. Yet in 2025, park infrastructure remained in poor condition, including broken water fountains, inadequate landscaping, and deteriorating basketball courts. Where has this funding gone, and will staff within Parks and Rec be held accountable for these outcomes? Speaking of Parks and Recreation, they are requesting almost $500 million with a $4.3 billion 10-year capital plan. Given the magnitude of this request, will City Council demonstrate the moral clarity to save a beloved heritage facility, the Weston Arena, that has been neglected by the city, and commit the funds needed for its revitalization? Will Parks and Rec commit to the capital repairs needed for Moss Park Arena, another gem that has suffered from years of neglect? Or will Councillor Moyse attempt another hostile takeover? With respect to economic development and culture, asking for $112 million, what is the budget allocated in 2026 for renaming streets, squares, or other civic assets? 8, the TTC is requesting $3 billion, over $250 million more than last year. Yet budget notes contain sparse detail on improving safety across the network. Instead, riders are encouraged to download an app. What is the budget allocated for the development, maintenance, and promotion of the Safe TTC app? Last but not least, in Councillor Bravo's ward, Davenport, neighborhood conditions in 2025 appeared notably neglected, with excessive weeds and poor ground maintenance. What is the 2026 budget for weed control and ground maintenance, and who will be accountable if upkeep of the public realm continues to deteriorate? Finally, with respect to solid waste management, they are asking for $406 million. What is the 2026 budget allocation for replacing our pathetic garbage bins, a legacy of a terrible deal signed during the David Miller era?
Your time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for Daniel? Seeing none, thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.